This is kind of in reference to Belove's Smacklicious sauce, except for it's way less ingredients and way less butter. So if you keep watching, I'm going to show you how I did this. These are the ingredients that I used. Don't worry, I'm going to show you everything step by step. So the very first thing that you want to do is you want to chop an onion and you want to chop some ginger. You do not need a lot of onion. This was like a fourth, probably smaller than a fourth of onion. And then you do not need a lot of ginger. You are not supposed to actually taste the ginger. You're not supposed to overpower the whole boil with ginger. You only need a little bit of this too. I would say just about a tablespoon of it. So you just want to chop those really small because you are going to put them in a blender later, but you just want to, give it a head start by just chopping it just a little bit small. And then you're just going to put it in a container and you are going to sit that to the side. For the next part of this video, we are going to mix all of the seasonings together. Right here, you see me grabbing the herb blend. There is a video on my page on what herbs these are, but I will just go back through them with you. You have thyme, you have rosemary, you have chives, and you have parsley. And there is a little bit of Creole seasonings in here. The Creole just has the sage and other, paprika and stuff like that in it. So this is why I said this has less ingredients than she has, because she has way more ingredients in her seafood sauce. So next I'm going to add black pepper. So I added black pepper and I added white pepper. Like I said, you can do equal parts of everything. For this one, my boil, I wasn't doing a really big boil, so I did about 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of each ingredient. So the white pepper is optional. I just like the flavoring of white pepper. If you don't have white pepper, you can just go ahead and use the black pepper that you have, because most people have black pepper and white pepper is hard to find. So the next thing that I am going to use is garlic powder. I am going to put, again, about 1 to 2 tablespoons of this in here. Once you make it and you taste it, if you feel like it needs a certain seasoning, just go ahead and add it. These are just the measurements that I have, and as you can see, I'm kind of eyeballing it, but for the most part I know what a tablespoon is, a teaspoon and all that stuff. So the next thing I'm going to do is add some Old Bay. Now this, I do not like using Old Bay. I'll use it if I'm doing a boil, but just for like other seafood, I won't use it. Like I strictly only use it if I'm making crab legs or mussels or shrimp. So the next thing I'm going to use is sazon. You do not need a lot of this. This you need basically like a half a tablespoon, like a teaspoon of this. It depends on what you're making and how much of it you're making, because this is a flavor enhancer. So you don't want a lot of this, because you're really not supposed to taste it. It's just supposed to enhance the flavor that you already have put together. So this is what this is going to look like before you mix it together. Go ahead and mix that together. Make sure this is well incorporated, because this seasoning mix is going to make or break your seafood boil. So after you go ahead and mix that together, you want to just set it to the side. So you need to get yourself a blender, and you want to add the solids, the onion and the ginger that we chopped earlier. You see me adding some minced garlic, because you want to definitely add garlic, but you don't want to chop it fine. You just want this chopped up and mixed together, because this is going to infuse that butter. So the butter that she uses in the beginning, you're going to infuse it with the garlic, the ginger, and the onion. The onion just helps balance those flavors, and you just want to make sure it's chopped up. Go ahead and do it a couple times, push it down the sides. Just make sure it's not supposed to be a paste. It's just supposed to be chopped up. Now you want to rinse off your seafood selection. I did colossal king crabs. I got these from Sam's Club, and I did some prawns. So you just want to make sure those prawns are deveined. And now we want to cook. So you want to add, this is 2 sticks of butter, but this is soft butter. It is unsalted butter. No salt is in this dish at all. So you want to go ahead and melt the butter. Make sure everything is melted before you do the next step. And I'm about to show you in just a moment. Gonna mix this up a little bit. When that butter is melted, now we are going to take those solids. You are going to infuse this butter with that mixture. So go ahead and mix it up, get it well incorporated and let it cook for a couple minutes. You're going to see it start to cook. So after it's been cooking for a while, you want to go ahead and add 1 lemon. Don't do what I just did. I dropped a half a lemon in there, but whatever. So I use a strainer because you do not want the seeds in there. The worst thing you can do is bite into a seed. It can actually crack your tooth and give you more problems than you already got. So just make sure you don't get the seeds in there. And I had this strainer and it was easy for me to go ahead and squeeze it and then, incorporate it in there. So go ahead and mix that and let that cook as well. After that, you want to start to add the seasonings. Now you want to add this in batches because you might not need all of it. I used all of mine because you do have to taste it in between, and I felt like mine needed the whole thing. So you just want to mix this all together just like this, and you want to let it cook down again for like 2 to 3 minutes. You will see it when it starts to cook, and you'll actually hear it too. So go ahead and, mix it up very well. Next, you are going to add some white wine. I chose Pinot Grigio, and you want to add about a cup of this. This replaces the extra 2+ sticks of butter that you see Beloved using. In my opinion, all that extra butter is not necessary because this wine will actually help that seafood sauce turn into a sauce without having to add extra butter. So when you add that wine, you want to add some lemon slices just so it can cook all together, because after this step, in about 3 minutes, it should be finished, and you'll see what it looks like in the next clip. After the wine is cooked off, it is going to look like this. Right here, you see me transferring it to another container. You do want to keep this warm, and you just want to set it to the side. Now we are going to steam the seafood. You want to use the same pan. Don't rinse it out. Just keep it. You want to add some more wine, and you want to cover the bottom of the pan. I do not drink wine. I cook with it, as you can clearly see. And these seasonings that I'm putting on top is the same seasonings that we used in the beginning. It's just I had some more left, so I just went ahead and put it around the crab legs. We're going to cover that with the lid, and then now, after a couple minutes, we are going to, this might sound weird, but baste the crab legs, because I did it in a pot, so in order for me to get it evenly distributed and all throughout the crab legs, I had to use either a spoon or this. So I chose to use a baster because it gets through the cracks and it's easier for me to distribute it. So go ahead, and if you have one, you can use it. If you don't, it doesn't matter. So now we want to add the prawns, and you want to turn the heat down and cover it again. After you cover it, everything is going to look just like this, and you are ready to deshell. So for this next clip, we just going to deshell the crab legs. These are colossal Alaskan king crabs, which means this is one of the biggest crabs that you can get. But what people need to understand is there are snow crabs, which is the smallest ones. You have king crab, you have Alaskan king crab, and then you have colossal Alaskan king crab, if that makes sense. So right here, these was pre-cracked, but you still need some scissors because some parts you still have to cut to get them out, especially if you deshelling them. You don't want a bunch of pieces, like you want big chunks of them. So go ahead and cut it and take the pieces out. So it's 2 parts to a crab leg. It's the knuckle and then it's the leg, of course. Now, I like to take the knuckle off first and then, get the meat out of there and then get the leg off. A lot of people don't know it's a lot of meat inside of a knuckle until they get a bigger crab leg. Even in the smaller crab legs, it's a lot of meat in the knuckle part, which right here, you'll see me cut, and then you'll see how much meat comes out of this knuckle by itself. So I really want people to pay attention to this so y'all don't miss it. I had a lot of crab from these 2 legs. This is the biggest piece here. As you can see, the knuckle is way bigger and there's way more meat in that one. But normally when you crack a crab leg, like right here, you're supposed to push it and then twist it and it'll slide right out just like that. But with the colossal ones, you do have to cut them. If they're not pre-cut, you definitely need some scissors, and it's meat all down to the end. So you do want to take your time kind of doing this. And as you're deshelling it, you do want to remove the fat as well. Like I said, you can pretty much tell where the fat is at. It's the mushy, white part you're not supposed to eat. Some people eat that. I don't know why, but y'all do. Now here, this is the biggest one that I had. And as you can see, the shell came right off because it was pre-cracked. And as you can see, it's no fat on this. It's no fat at all. So I'm gonna let y'all keep watching it and pretty much see what I'm doing without me talking, because I think I explained just about everything. So we about to deshell the prawns. You do want to take the tail off first, and these are pretty big, so that's why I cut them. But you usually can just pull them off. But you do want to pull from the tail just so you get all the meat from out of the tail, and then you want to pull the shell off the front. So that is pretty much it for this video, and hopefully you enjoyed it and you enjoy the meal if you do this recipe. And I will see you guys in the next video.